Hi friends! Our phonics skill this week is actually 2 new sounds for 2 letters that we've already learned. One of those letters is the letter C. We know that C can say k, like cake. That C sound, the k sound, is called what we call a hard C. It's when you say it and the air comes out real fast, and it kind of if you hold your hand up to your mouth, you can feel the air rush out pretty hard. That's what we call it, hard C. Cake. You feel that? Cake. Okay. The other letter is the G. The G sound that we've already learned is like at the beginning of the word goat. Goat. That's also called a hard sound, a hard G. If you put your hand in front of your mouth, you can feel the air rushing out when you say g, goat, g, goat. You feel that? Well, we've already learned these sounds called the hard sound, hard C, like cake, and the hard G, like goat. We've learned those. Now, the hard C, or the C, has a hard sound and it also has a soft sound. The soft C sound is the sound that you hear at the beginning of the word celery. Celery. The soft C sounds like a letter we've already learned. Yeah, the soft C makes the same sound as the letter S. S, like celery. So the soft C says S. Now the G, the hard G, remember, says G, like goat. The soft G is the sound that you hear at the beginning of the word giraffe. The beginning sound of the word giraffe. Does that sound like a letter we've already learned? Giraffe, j. Yes, we have heard that sound before. J sounds like a J, but giraffe does not start with a J. It starts with a G, a soft G sound, J. So, hard G says G, like goat. Soft G says J, like giraffe. Now that you've learned the sounds, the different sounds, the new sounds, the new soft sounds for soft C and soft G, now you need to learn how to, or when to use G instead of J, and when to use a C instead of an S. Okay? Let me show you this card right here. This card tells us when to use a C for a soft C sound, like celery. Remember, we said that celery, it's a soft C, but it sounds like an S. So if you're writing the word celery, how do you know? You just have to learn it. But if you're writing the word celery, if you're reading the word celery, and you come across the word celery, you don't know whether to say if it's celery or if it's celery. Well, first of all, knowing that C can say S or K, you have to use your brain and see what sounds right. But if you look at what's following the C, if the C is followed by an E, it will say S, like celery. So if the C is followed by an E, it'll say S, like in celery. If the C is followed by an I, it will also say S, like celery. If the C is followed by a Y, it will say S, like celery. Same thing with giraffe. If the giraffe is followed by, if the G is followed by an E, it will say J. If the G is followed by an I, like in the word giraffe, it will say J. If the G is followed by a Y, it will say J. So the reason we're learning these two sounds together, the soft G and the soft C, is because they have the same rule. The letter C and the letter G will make a soft sound if they are followed by an E, an I, or a Y. Okay? So, as you're reading, if you come across words that have C followed by E, I, or Y, you know that that C is going to have a soft sound. It's going to say S. Same thing when you see, if you're reading and you see a G, if it's in a word, if it's followed by a GE or an I or a Y, you know that that G is going to say J. It's going to have the soft sound. Now, as for writing these words and knowing the difference between whether you're going to use a C for a soft C or if you're going to use an S for the S sound, that's just something that you have to learn as you go. Okay, that's just something you have to put away in your brain. So that is what takes some practice. That's why we're going to be practicing with the soft C and the soft G all week long. So we're going to be doing lots of practice so that when you see it and when you try to spell it, you'll remember these words and this rule. Okay? Good job.